When an older adult ends up in the emergency room, families often think, everything changed today. But that's almost never what happened. The health crisis probably started weeks ago, maybe even months ago. The hospital is just where everyone finally noticed it. At Caring Senior Service, we've helped thousands of families recognize the small warning signs that usually appear long before the emergency. And today, we're going to show you 7 of the biggest ones.
Our caregivers are the ones that help us recognize changes. They're the ones that have that hand-on-hand contact.
That's exactly why recognizing these warning signs early can make all the difference. Let's look at 7 changes you should never ignore. Maybe they stopped walking around the neighborhood. Maybe they spend more time sitting, or they suddenly avoid stairs. Many families assume they're just slowing down, but decreased movement often leads to weaker muscles, poor balance, and a much higher risk of falling. And that creates a dangerous cycle that's difficult to reverse. At first, it doesn't seem like a problem. Maybe your mom says she's just tired. Maybe your dad says his knees hurt today. So everyone adjusts. Instead of walking to the mailbox, they drive. Instead of taking the stairs, they stay downstairs. Instead of going shopping, they order groceries. None of those decisions seem dangerous on their own. But over time, less movement means weaker muscles, poorer balance, and less confidence. And once someone starts moving less, they often continue moving even less. One of the easiest warning signs to overlook is a change in eating habits. And it usually doesn't start with someone refusing to eat altogether. Maybe you notice the refrigerator is still full because very little food is actually being eaten. Maybe frozen meals are stacking up in the freezer. Maybe they tell you, I'm just not that hungry anymore. Or maybe they're living on coffee, toast, or cereal because preparing a real meal feels like too much work. None of those changes seem alarming by themselves. It's easy to think they're just eating a little less, or that's just part of getting older. But poor nutrition can quietly lead to weight loss, dehydration, muscle weakness, lower energy, and a weaker immune system. Over time, it also increases the risk of falls because the body simply doesn't have the strength it once did. Sometimes the biggest warning sign isn't physical, it's behavioral. Maybe someone who's always been outgoing suddenly wants to be alone. Maybe they're sleeping much more than usual. They're forgetting parts of conversations, repeating stories, or seeming unusually irritable over little things. Even subtle confusion about dates, appointments, or familiar routines deserves attention. It's common to assume they're just getting older, or they're having an off day. While occasional forgetfulness happens to everyone, noticeable changes in personality or mental sharpness should never automatically be blamed on aging. Confusion can sometimes be caused by infections, dehydration, medication interactions, or other medical conditions that may be treatable if caught early. That's why paying attention to changes in behavior can be just as important as watching for physical symptoms.
Our staff goes in there and knows what to look for. We've caught urinary tract infections, had the family make doctor's appointments so that they don't get sicker.
Instead of asking, "Are you okay?" try asking specific questions about sleep, medications, hydration, or how they're feeling. And if the change seems sudden, contact their healthcare provider promptly. Managing multiple medications can become increasingly difficult with age. What this actually looks like. Maybe you notice pill bottles that should be empty are still full. Perhaps prescriptions aren't being refilled on time. You find medications sitting on the kitchen counter because they forgot whether they already took them. Or they mention feeling dizzy after accidentally taking an extra dose. Many families assume an occasional missed pill isn't a big deal. But medication mistakes rarely stay occasional without some kind of support. Missing medications or taking too much can quickly affect blood pressure, blood sugar, heart conditions, pain management, and many other chronic illnesses. Even a few days of inconsistency can have serious consequences. A weekly pill organizer, medication reminders, or having someone regularly check in can make a tremendous difference before medication errors lead to an emergency. When most people think about falls, they picture broken bones, but the reality is often much more complicated. Maybe they mention they almost lost their balance. They start grabbing furniture as they walk. You notice bruises they can't explain. Or they quietly stop doing activities they once enjoyed because they're afraid they'll fall. These near falls are often just as important as actual falls. Many seniors don't even tell their families they've fallen because they're afraid someone will take away their independence. Others brush it off by saying, "I'm fine." Every fall, or even every close call, should be treated as important because it often signals that something has changed. Balance, strength, vision, medications, or an underlying medical condition may all be contributing.
A fall triggers almost a domino effect of negative things physically. Hospitalized pneumonia is the path to their health really disintegrating.
Don't simply ask whether they were hurt. Ask why they think they lost their balance. Then have that conversation with their physician before another fall happens. One of the clearest warning signs isn't medical at all. It's when everyday routines become harder to manage. The laundry isn't getting folded. Dirty dishes are sitting in the sink. Mail is piling up unopened. Bills are being paid late. The house isn't as tidy as it used to be. Or maybe they stop going to the grocery store altogether. Why families dismiss it? It's easy to assume they're just not as interested in cleaning anymore. But often, those unfinished tasks point to something much deeper. Cooking, cleaning, driving, and managing finances all require physical strength, memory, planning, and energy. When several of those begin slipping at once, it may indicate that living independently is becoming more difficult than your loved one is willing to admit. Rather than focusing on the mess itself, ask what made those tasks difficult. The answer can reveal whether additional support could help them remain independent longer. The first 6 warning signs involve things you can usually see, but this last one is different. It's the warning sign families talk about most, and it's often the one they wish they had trusted sooner. The final warning sign is also the hardest to describe, because sometimes nothing seems obviously wrong. Maybe conversations don't feel quite the same. They're quieter than usual, less engaged. They're forgetting little details they never used to forget. Their sense of humor seems different. They've lost interest in hobbies they've enjoyed for years. You can't point to one major problem. It's simply a collection of small changes that leaves you thinking, they're just different. Many people ignore that feeling because they can't explain it. They don't want to overreact. They tell themselves they'll wait and see. The people who know your loved one best are often the first to recognize when something has changed. Those instincts matter because you've spent years learning what's normal for them.
People are so resistant to help, and they don't think they need it. They don't want change until it's too late.
If your instincts tell you something has changed, don't ignore them. Start a conversation, schedule a medical appointment if needed, and consider whether additional eyes in the home could help identify changes before they become emergencies. Here's what we hope you take away from this video. You don't have to wait until your loved one falls. You don't have to wait until they're hospitalized. You don't have to wait until they're unable to live independently. Most health crises leave clues. They're usually small. They're usually gradual. And because they happen one at a time, they're easy to dismiss. But when you start looking at those changes together, instead of individually, a much clearer picture begins to emerge. Acting early doesn't mean taking away someone's independence. In many cases, it's exactly what helps preserve it.
Caregiver does the caregiving so that the kids can be the kids, or the son can be the son, the daughter that can be the daughter.
That's the goal, helping seniors stay healthy at home while allowing families to spend more time simply being family. If you noticed one or more of these warning signs, don't wait until an emergency forces a decision. Talk with your loved one's physician and start exploring the support that can help them remain safe and independent at home. And we'd love to hear from you. Which of these warning signs have you noticed first in an aging parent or loved one? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could help another family recognize the signs before a crisis happens.